listening to the best music.
Feel the freshness. Michael Jackson, bank account, spend my cash on, aso, competition anaicheki kwa kioo, mambo yake pia ni black on, na ni Black Boys Club tumedunga maope na nyonginyo tuko moshi, I swear sezi tell pali tuko setere sese, mchezo resese, randi shit ali mukuture sese, switch bank on the jump dance, ndani ya ring ni my head is in it.
You're now listening to the best music. 1 hour of the hottest tracks and coolest mashups of the moment.
Nowezi hepa lugha yangu vile na roro, so keep stand innovation vile na kapo. Nimedunga black ya nyajiwa gena na black model and na friend. Chupa ni black, tags in dark kwa swanga. Sumuoka kipeti ya chalo, squad yote paka nije. Tuyo pangeza tine, competition haicheki kwa kioo. Mambo yake pia ni black one, Michael Jackson, bank account, spend my cash on, aso. Competition anaicheki kwa kioo, mambo yake pia ni black one, na ni black one. Number one, superhero, Superman, you're my lady, you're the one, you your ego, Usipan. Number one, superhero, Superman, you're my lady, you're the one. Get ready, lights keep coming. Unacheki superhero on a mission, yeah. Like I'm black, looking like a billionaire. Girl, you got a making free now, pair. See the out, never that you see compare. Check your superhero on a mission, yeah. Like I'm black, looking like a billionaire. Girl, you got a making free now, pair. See the out, never that you see. Go and you never can DJ. Do your pangas and DJ. Competition, I checking up here. Mambo yake pia ni black one, Michael Jackson, bank account, spend my cash on, aso. Competition anaicheki kwa kioo, mambo yake pia ni black one, na ni black one.
Black over there, Night Boy featuring Yashinsky. Welcome, family, to another conversation here with me on Let's Pop with Irutan on the Black Hot Fire Radio Network. My name is Irutan Lungur. You can download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackhotfirenetwork.com for amazing healthy supplement apparel clothing with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it. If you're a fan of supplements, super organic, super healthy, just download our app on the Google Play Store. The ones who are using the Android device is super free. If you're using the computer or the iPhone, you can stream on www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. You'll definitely get updated on different shows that are always running here on the Black Hot Fire Radio Network from 8 to 11 p.m. Amazing, empowering, educational shows here on the Black Hot Fire Radio Network. Thank you for the ones who are joining us live on YouTube, on BitTruth, on Rumble. Today's conversation is about the power of the will. This is about relearning and learning, and the fact that we understand where there's a will, there's a way, and the fact that when people are woke and they're super educative about what's really happening and how the world runs, what do you do with that? That's the question. What do you do with that knowledge when you start understanding everything that you have actually been learning about everything? It's not the way it is. Today's morning, we were actually playing that song for I Know I Can. And it's amazing because we've had that song since we were little kids. And in that part of the song, they were actually singing about Africa and the empires we had and the colonization that took place and the identity and cultural, traditional heritage that was stripped off the Africans that are taken to the United States of America. And it's so funny that we didn't even hear that part. The only part that we had was the chorus, like, I know I can be what I want to be. Like, listening to that song right now, like, you're actually so young, maybe you couldn't even understand what's really happening. But if you were really taught by the people who knew what's really happening, I know things could have been different right now. But before I move forward right now with the conversation, I'll definitely share some of the supplements we do have on our website.
Discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure, organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
$23.90. You'll definitely get your ashwagandha, you get your beetroot, whatever you're actually looking for. We have them on the website. We also do have amazing healthy supplements like the multivitamin, brain focus, also the Manuka Honey Coffee. Thank you everybody joining us on TikTok. How are we doing? This is the Black Hot Fire Radio Network on Let's Pop with Ewerton. Amazing conversation coming in right away. But before that, I'll share the health and benefit of beetroot.
Beetroot, nature's powerhouse, packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and nitrates, it's known to support heart health, boost stamina, and improve blood circulation. Our beetroot is naturally grown and harvested at peak ripeness. The roots are cleaned, dried, and finely ground to preserve their rich nutrition content, giving you all the benefits in one pure form. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder to your juice, smoothie, or water, or take it in capsule form as recommended by your healthcare provider. Beetroot helps enhance endurance, lower blood pressure, and keep you feeling energized and balanced all day. Fuel your body with the natural power of beetroot. Stay strong, stay healthy. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
$20.90 will definitely get your beetroot on the Black Hot Fire Radio Network, Meteor for the 21st Century. Thank you everybody for joining me again. The conversation of today is the power of the will. And this is a question of what you do with the knowledge that you acquire after learning and relearning about the African heritage, African identity, the cultural roots that has actually been almost stripped away from us. So what do you do with that? And also, I believe if you're super in tune in regards to your calling or identity, you end up actually teaching people and you end up actually making people learn about everything that has been hidden away from them. Mostly the history that has been hidden away from us is something which is going to be super I'd say triggering, or you're gonna feel super unsettled if you don't pass this knowledge to other people, honestly, because you know what they're talking about is not true. But before we move forward, also, I think we do remember Miss Kier Wakesho Simmons. She has a summit that is coming up very soon, December 30th. Here it's an Africa's Business and Cultural Exchange Summit, where it's all about building bridges for investment and heritage. And it's going to be a beautiful cultural place for us to be in. So it's not only about just, learning or anything like that. It's about building bridges for investment and heritage. And she says Africa is rising and the diaspora is at the center of this transformation. At the Africa Business and Cultural Exchange Summit, Journey Back to Eden, she calls it 2025, you'll meet investors ready to unlock new opportunities, entrepreneurs driving innovation across technology, real estate, and lifestyle. Also, she will definitely have thought leaders. PLO Lumumba will be there. So, shaping the future of Africa's economy and cultural identity. And she says this isn't just a summit, it's a platform to reconnect, invest, and create a lasting impact. Whether you're looking at business expansion, partnership, or heritage reconnection, she says Nairobi is the place to be this December, and you can secure a business press today and be part of Africa's future. Check on her website. You can get your tickets over there. I'm going to share her video on this summit. So here we go.
Hi, my name is Kia Simmons, and I am the founder and CEO of Traverse Culture. We are here at Two Rivers Mall where we'll be having the historical event Journey Back to Eden, or better known as the JBE. And I wanted you all to be able to see some of the experiences you will have at this beautiful location, which is one of the largest malls in Central and Eastern Africa.
So if you're coming to the JBE, we have partnered with the Holiday Inn, which is a place where you'll find some of the most luxurious rooms here in Nairobi and a fine dining restaurant conveniently located at the Two Rivers Mall.
The Journey Back to Eden is a 3-day event built into a 7-day and 12-day tour of the beautiful country of Kenya. We will be having a business conference, culture exchange expo, New Year celebration, and a town hall meeting with none other than Dr. Umar right here
Oh
in
my
Nairobi,
gosh.
Kenya. And we want to see you there.
Dr. Umar is coming? Oh my gosh, guys, I have to go. Now I'm going. I gotta go to this conference. Oh my gosh. Dr. Umar is gonna be there. PLO Lumumba is gonna be there. I'm gonna actually restart this. I didn't listen to it, but I shared it on my Instagram.
Hi, my name is Kia Simmons, and I am the founder and CEO of Traverse Culture. We are here at Two Rivers Mall where we'll be having the historical event Journey Back to Eden, or better known as the JBE. And I wanted you all to be able to see some of the experiences you will have at this beautiful location, which is one of the largest malls in Central and Eastern Africa.
So if you're coming to the JBE, we have partnered with the Holiday Inn, which is a place where you'll find some of the most luxurious rooms here in Nairobi and a fine dining restaurant conveniently located at the Two Rivers Mall.
The Journey Back to Eden is a 3-day event built into a 7-day and 12-day tour of the beautiful country of Kenya. We will be having a business conference, culture exchange expo, New Year celebration, and a town hall meeting with none other than Dr. Umar right here in Nairobi, Kenya. And we want to see you there this December.
So that's the business summit like Miss Kier is going to be holding on December 30th. She says Dr. Umar is going to be there. So if you know Dr. Umar, as big Pan-Africanist in the United States of America, his content is just empowering and inspiring, opening the African's mind. He's so loud on social media about the African culture, of African identity. He's gonna be at the summit, and also do have Pila Lumumba, who's also gonna be there at their summit right away. So definitely go check the Travels Culture on Instagram, and you'll definitely get updated on how to get your tickets to their summit over there. We do have the one and only Pilo Lumumba. He says they're happy to announce the Pila Lumumba, founder of the Pila Lumumba Foundation, author, and one of Africa's most influential Pan-African voices, as our keynote speaker at the Journey Back to Eden Summit 2025 in Nairobi, Kenya. Professor Lumumba will deliver an inspiring address on how the diaspora holds the key to Africa's transformation, bridging culture, business, and heritage to shape our shared future. That's December 30th. But Ms. Kira said it's a 3-day conference. So that'll be on the 30th, and I think the 31st. Also, they'll definitely have a global culture expo. Yeah, the 31st is where they'll definitely do have a global cultural expo. at Two Rivers, if you know where that is. They're saying they're bringing together cultural travelers from the African diaspora and beyond, vendors and exhibitors. If you're selling something, whatever that is, from East Africa, West Africa, and across the world, performers, artists, and innovators ready to showcase the richness of the traditions. This is more than an event, it's a celebration of identity, culture, and global connection at the heart of Nairobi. So that's what's really happening on the 30th to 31st for at the Travels Culture. Um, yeah, so take a look at that on their social media or website. It'll definitely get updated. Getting into the conversation about the power of the wheel, I was talking about the fact that when you have this knowledge about your identity and everything that has been hidden away from you, mostly our history, what do you do with it? How do you actually transform that to teach others who are not actually woke to this conversation about the history of Africa, about the identity and how Africa used to be before colonization, how our identity, how our spirituality was actually stripped away from us and hidden for years. I'll definitely share a video. It's the one and only PLO Lumumba. It's so amazing because he was actually showcasing his house, Joshua Maponga. I'm sorry, and it looks like an artifact museum. Oh my god! Like Joshua Maponga is a true Pan Africanist. His house is actually full of everything African. That's how you know a true Pan Africanist. I'm telling you.
To decolonize Africa, we needed to firstly understand how colonization was structured in terms of right on top of the list is governance, how the governing of the community was structured, where was the centers, where were the centers of power in terms of managing the community. So we had a royal system that was working through consultative spaces with the leaders and the elders, the wise people and the herbalists and stuff like that, which was the weaponry. Herbs were not used only for healing, they were also used for war. And people would actually be able to send bees and etc. and manipulate nature to fight. So initially what you are talking about, decolonization, firstly we needed to learn how to decolonize our governance systems. As we have already discussed on neo-colonialism and the colonial system, which uses the Roman Dutch law for management of the community.
I'm always excited because every time I talk about the youth right now, they're super woke on what's really happening on politics, the social, economic system, history. It's amazing when you go to these comments and you see the likes of Bill Gates talking about contraceptive, talking about pesticides, talking about the breeding of mosquitoes, so that you can actually, that's what he can increase the rise of malaria. Everybody knows what he's doing. That's a good thing, right? So I believe if we're actually united with one common goal, it's actually easier to have a government that is super conscious and they are ready to step in as Pan-Africanists and it's actually super ready for us to scrape up every leader who's just like most of them or all of them who are actually grounded on corruption and on their own selfish gain in everything that they're doing.
Right now, Africa is using the Roman Dutch law. The question is, where is Rome and where is Dutch in Africa? So that law is misplaced altogether because you're managing people in Africa using a foreign law. That law comes with its statutory regulations. What is marriage? Comes with its own regulations. How do you set up your businesses? Comes with regulation who owns the land. That translates itself into the constitution, which many African countries think that they have a constitution. Meanwhile, the constitution is a brand new yoke of colonialism itself. So the first bus stop is we need to decolonize our legal framework We need to decolonize our governance systems.
Our educational system, everything that has actually been governing us has never been there, or it has never been set up to actually make it work for us. If it was, there should be a difference, right? Right now, if we did have all the organizations actually partnering with Kenya or with Africa, the UN, name it, UNESCO, whatever they call themselves, well, there you do definitely see a difference in terms of development, but you've never seen that since you're a little kid, right? It's the same old, same old. Actually, it's getting worse. Has been getting worse.
We need to find the heartbeat of indigenous governance systems, which then becomes way of protection and running the societal issues and disputes and etc. And as we said, the issues of oaths, for example, finds itself in the governance systems, the concepts of jails and policing, for example, land ownership and of marriage rights and marriage ceremonies and certificates and stuff like that. You would then find out immediately you start tampering with governance and saying we don't want the constitution, which is a big hindrance because African governments think that when they put a president in power, the president will be able to act and do anything. But we forget that by making him president, we've actually put him on the yoke of the same system that we're trying to fight against.
Right.
Therefore, the first format, first bus stop.
That actually makes sense because it actually makes sense. So you have to have a leader who will actually not fit in, who will say, regardless, I'm voted in, I won't align with this system because if we basically vote in a president, whatever, and maybe they're not conscious leaders and they're playing the same old game, they have to actually align with the same old system. And that's why whatever we do right now, every leader we actually elect and they coming with these types of promises, it's so hard for them to actually fulfill that because they're not the one who are actually leading us or controlling nothing like that. They're not controlling anything. They're being given orders, they're being given ultimatums if they don't do this and this. So we are actually putting them in the same system that has actually been governing us. So what do we do? Or what do we need? We need a leader who's actually a Pan-Africanist, a very confident leader who will say no to the air quotes constitution that we do have. Air quotes, this democracy thing that is going on. Everything that has actually been set for us to actually align with, which for the longest time, as I said earlier, nothing has changed. The educational system, what has it done for you? Tell me, in terms of mostly your history. What do you really know about your history? Or you actually know about other people's history, which is not even helping you with anything. We should definitely have Pan-Africanism as a subject in schools. That should be made mandatory. So which leader or where, maybe I believe with time, that will definitely happen. We need a conscious Pan-Africanist leader who will stand out and not fit in to the same old system that has actually been governing us.
First requirement of decolonization, how do we decolonize our governance? We have the House of Traditional Leaders, which has been left only for culture and entertainment. But all the governments in Africa, so sorry to say this, all the governments in Africa are crime scenes. They are all criminals in that they are looking over land which does not belong to them. The land belongs to the indigenous people, the kings and the royalties, who then sit their people in their various tribes into those lands. So when the colonial system came and they removed the leaders of the community and they placed themselves, they're starting to collect taxes from people as if they're the colonizers themselves. How do we do that? We need to go back and reinstate the Maasai, the Luos, and the rest of the tribes into their rightful places and let each place, each leader develop his own land. Right now, we have the capital city mindset where the whole country is collecting money from everywhere, moving it into Nairobi. So now you have a rich city, Harare, rich city. Dar es Salaam, rich city. Lusaka, rich city. And once you have that kind of an ideology, then you're causing migration. Move away from the poor villages.
That is so true. That's what's actually been happening. Everybody's moving to the city in whatever country that you're in. But we are moving away from the most precious gems of all time, our lands, the natural organics that are growing in our so-called villages. We are leaving precious gems. And then what happens? We do have people who come and buy these lands that you've left to go to the city.
And everyone is running into the city. Now look at the impact on infrastructure within the cities. And unfortunately, many of our African leaders are not yet that educated to understand that the system that they're inheriting was only designed to occupy so many people. The water in this city was meant only for so many people. The roads in the city were only built to drive so many cars. The electricity was only for so many people.
Yeah.
Now you have, after independence, a city which was built to live 300,000, 600,000 people. Now we're sitting on 4 million, 5 million people. And then we start complaining. The roads are bad. The hospitals are bad.
But also a fun fact right now, we do have a lot of people right now who are actually moving back to their lands. They're actually taking part in farming. In this generation, we have a lot of young people investing in farming, going back to everything they were told is not good, is not cool, is not fit in whatever is meant to actually identify with you. I love the fact that this generation is going back to its natural source. I always say that nature will always go back to its natural source. And that means it's whatever that's happening in the political, social, economic sector. This means it's actually the chosen ones as a generation, I can say it's this one, will actually trail the footprints of what it really means to be an African. Because right now we have a lot of young people who are so proud and so confident to say they're farmers because yes, I am, to all this beautiful identifying cultural thing because it's what really identifies with me, because we were told that's not good enough. You should definitely go and learn about. I'm not saying being a doctor is a bad thing. I'm not saying being a lawyer is a bad thing. But a lot of people did not pick agriculture as a cause or as a career because they were told it's not good enough. But that's where the money is at. A lot of farmers are millionaires. It's a fact.
Schools are not enough, but you're not aware that you have taken too many people into an infrastructure that cannot contain those people. And when you look at the floods that have just happened in Kenya here, it's a big indication of the limitations of our cities. And the lowlands were never meant for people to live in. And when you see a disaster like this happening, you must know it once happened. It will happen again. And so we need to start building new cities in highlands, in the mountainsides, and leave the plains for grazing and agriculture and etc. When you come to the Lozi tribes in Zambia, for example, every season, when seasons change, then they move upland because all the swamps are going to be full of water. And when the swamps dry down, then they go back to the lowlands. But now, because of civilization,
fact that, before it continues, the fact that we were told that, taking farming as a cause is not like a good thing, or actually living in the parts where we were born, it's not a good thing. It doesn't really make sense because all these tech companies, all these companies that are coming in the name of carbon storage, where are they buying lands? In areas that have actually been abandoned by people who are fleeing to the city to try and make a hustle. And I'm not refuting that, okay. But are you actually investing in the lands that you've left abandoned? People who know the value of it are coming in and actually buying it and owning it in some things which doesn't actually make sense. Carbon storage. What do you mean carbon storage?
We've decided to stay in those lowlands. It has not yet happened. It might take 10 years. It might take 20 years, like in Kenya. It has taken maybe 50 years for you to have such a flood. But the day it happens, then it will be a national disaster. We say in our culture, water never forgets where it once flowed. As such, the concept of governance and rulership and how to guide and lead people needs to find its intelligence in the indigenous knowledge systems so that we do not give people properties in wetlands, in the swamps, where they're going to be drowning in water. That's poor planning. The lowlands, which can flood, you cannot tell me that you're going to build schools and homes in flatlands where we know that disasters such as floods will come up. So the concept of governance is important. You're not only dealing with the municipality, road construction, how do you house people, how do you settle people, how do you rule them, how do you arrest them, how do they pay for their crimes, how do they buy land, and so that whole concept of law, the judiciary.
Mostly for that, how do they buy land? Yeah, that's a very, very deep conversation over there.
Needs to be decolonized.
Land is everything. Land is you, I'm telling you.
After dealing with the pillar on governance, the next pillar is agriculture. Agriculture, we're talking about indigenous foods vis-a-vis genetically modified foods. How do we preserve ourselves as Africans? Do we want to live on pizzas now? Do we want to live in supermarkets? Do we want to live with GMO foods? Do we want to live with processed foods? And I'm glad that our generation is waking up to discover that health.
This generation is waking up, and I'm glad to see. I know a lot of people around me who are actually so proud to say that they're farmers, who are so proud to go back to their indigenous roots in terms of what they're actually consuming. It's a good thing because it'll never be the same because they brought the propaganda or basically the culture of eating fast foods, which are not good for us at all, 100%, pharmaceutical medicine, which, you know what I mean. But when you go back to the herbal medicine that we've been told is not good, like everything that has to identify with Africans is not good. So you've been made to loathe everything that identifies with you. And it's so funny because you've never questioned that, because you've been taught like other races are better than you. So whatever they say, you're not going to question it. You're just going to take it fully and say, yes, master, I receive.
It's not.
But no more, because people are asking questions before they say yes. So I'm so proud of this generation.
In fine foods, these traditional foods that we could think they are for the uncivilized and uneducated. In fact,
I just said that. And he's just saying that. And I've not listened to this video, guys.
Poorer the people are, the healthier their diet is. The richer they become, the more sick they become. In fact, many of our diseases that we are suffering from right now are what I want to call colonial diseases. We never had a problem of fibroids, problems of cancer, problems of diabetes, problems of, opportunistic diseases, which are caused by poor immunity, which is a result directly of poor agriculture. So agriculture for me does not.
So you should order your supplements on www.Black Radio Network. He said poor immunity. So you are what you consume. If you're eating healthy, if you're having an alkaline diet, I'm telling you, it's hard for you to be sick. But if you're eating all sorts of whatever you're eating, you know what you're eating. I see you. You'll be having headaches. I don't know what kind of disease you've never heard of before. It's just one problem after the other. But you are what you consume. It's a fact.
Only talk about feeding the people, but feeding the people the right food. Right now, as we speak, many people's stomachs are full of food, but they're empty of health. The fact that your stomach is full does not mean that you're healthy at all.
Right.
So again, you come back to my head, which is the diet, menu diet. How do we plant these kind of foods and how do we make them available on our tables?
Shmani, we should definitely get that hat from Joshua Maponger. Yeah.
So that people can be healthy. But agriculture is land. We need access to land so that we can plant food. And I want to challenge African governments to particularly start considering small seeds as a solution to food security. Small seeds. These are your rapokos, they are sorghums, these are your millets. Those are drought resistant. You just plant them as quick as they germinate. you are sure you're going to harvest from. But this maize meal has only been here for the past 100 years from Brazil and etc. It was an imported thing. Now, ugali, maize meal has become a staple diet, but it is not original with us. The one that we had were those yellow, pink, orange.
Yes, we did have Sankara talking about that. It's not the indigenous maize, the flour that we gave from the maize, not the indigenous maize. So they've actually altered everything. And as he says, it has become the staple food of Kenyans over here.
Apple kind of maize meal, which are small seeds also. So we need to do a seed bank strategy for agriculture, that we harvest our small seeds, keep them in store, and start reintroducing them back into the community, because our health is our wealth. Without good health, even the richest country is poor. As such, agriculture is critical, because as people eat, so they become, and what people eat is what they become. And if we are not careful...
We agree on that, Joshua Maponga. Yes, you are what you consume. He just said everything I'm saying. I think we're super in tune, with Joshua Maponga. BG, how are you doing? Welcome to Let's Pop with Irritant. We're talking about the power of the wheel.
On agriculture.
And everybody joining me right now, how are you doing? We're talking about how we can decolonize African system, talking about the agricultural or economic side of it, the governing side of it, the social side of it, and how can we do this, and how can you pass this knowledge to the people around you, and how can you intentionally actually do and live like that.
We're going to pay a big bill on health. The imports and exports can only come as long as our stomachs are full. We must plant what we eat and eat what we plant.
Yeah.
We can't convert Kenya into a place of planting coffee. Who eats coffee? We cannot be planting all this coffee only to sell it, right, instead of us planting food that we can eat. So we must actually make an allocation that we get full first. And when we are full, the surplus, that goes for export. But you can't build a community based on exports only.
Right.
Here's the foolishness. You plant your coffee.
I agree with that, because we do have leaders who are in this position for their selfish interests. So don't you think some of them are shareholders or own these companies of these agricultural organics? Yes, they do. As it talks about, a lot of things that we're growing in Kenya, they are only for exports. It's not what you eat. It's not what you consume. Most of them are being exported.
All of it. They go and make coffee. They make chocolates. After you sell the coffee at a cheaper price, by the way, because it's not processed, you bring back the money. When the money comes back into the country, you take the same money to the same people to buy food. Then who is stupid here? Whose brain is not working? How do you mess up the ground to plant something that you can't eat, only to take the money of what you have planted, what you have sold, to buy the food that you must come back and eat? Then we need to change the strategy.
Thank you, Pixie. I appreciate it.
Go together. And you cannot keep our land as a supply of raw materials, and yet we will need the same money again to feed ourselves. So the balance between imports and export, and that's where the GDP sits. That's where currencies sit. How much have you exported? How much have you imported? At the end of the day, what we are exporting is equivalent to what we are importing in terms of basic necessities of food. So what do you end up having on the table? People have no money. Their currency is worth nothing. Why? Because they're hungry. What do they need? You need to import oil. You need to import food. You need to import medicine. You need to import this. At the end of the day, you're just working for the system.
Yeah. So
we need to find a way of breaking that cycle of poverty. And agriculture is key to unlocking the potential of any country. Mother tongue, I'll start off with mother tongue before I get to agriculture. Education is important.
Very.
Why do I emphasize the importance of our indigenous language? Our indigenous language is a science of its own. It contains the language, the words for the trees, the words for the grass, the words for seasons, the words for storms. And if you look very carefully at those words, you find that there's a whole technology that is involved in terms of what this tree works. For example, there's a tree down south we call mususu. Mususu is a bitter herb tree sort of thing. And the stomach of a human being in the south, we call it susu. So there you have it. You have a tree that is standing here with the elders called Mususu, and your gut is also called Susu. Is it not interesting? That actually Mususu is the medicine.
It comes back to the conversation about we are nature, nature is us. Because he talks about the dialect, the African dialect. And he says every dialect is like represent everything that surrounds us, trees, organic products, the crops that we grow. And he gave an example right away, which there's a dialect of whatever tree that is named, and in that ethnicity, the same name for the tree means stomach or belly.
For the Susu. And it is as good as connected, just like that. And so when you lose that language and you call it Andivikitas, what, you give it some Italian name that they name it there, you already make the local people lose touch with the value of this.
That is so true. How are you doing, DJ Dang? And as I said earlier, during the transatlantic slave trade, everything was basically scraped off Africans forcefully, violently. Their culture, their spirituality, their ethnicity, dialect, name it. Everything was actually scraped off. And it's like they actually adopted another life identity, religions from scratch. That's a lot.
For me would be speaking to creating institutions of learning that introduce the young people to their own resources. You don't go to school to study so that you can write a CV. You go to school to study so that you can solve the problems in the community.
Come on.
Here is the model.
Right.
Before you go to school, identify the problem in the community.
I agree.
Then go to school, study the problem, look for possible solution, have a proposal and a business plan of how to solve this problem. When you graduate, go back into the community and solve that problem. And while you are solving problems, you've created a business and you can charge it.
How are you doing, DJ Deng? I can see you there on TikTok. How's your Friday? Are you excited for the weekend? Before we move forward, we're going to go on a short commercial break as we actually take a look at some of the organic supplements that we have for you as you download our app on the Google Play. So DJ Deng, I hope you've downloaded our app on the Google Play Store. You should, or it's super free. If you have the iPhone, you can just stream on www.Blackout Radio Network. You can order some ashwagandha, some beetroot, and some multivitamins. So let me know if you're downloading the app. It's actually very, 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 very super free.
Beetroot, nature's powerhouse. Packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and nitrates, it's known to support heart health, boost stamina, and improve blood circulation. Our beetroot is naturally grown and harvested at peak ripeness. The roots are cleaned, dried, and finely ground to preserve their rich nutrition content, giving you all the benefits in one pure form. Add 1 teaspoon of beetroot powder to your juice, smoothie, or water, or take it in capsule form as recommended by your healthcare provider. Beetroot helps enhance endurance, lower blood pressure, and keep you feeling energized and balanced all day. Fuel your body with the natural power of beetroot. Stay strong, stay healthy. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
$20.90. You'll definitely get your beetroot. DJ Dang, you're saying you're going to get it? Okay, you can just get it now. I know you have Wi-Fi, whatever you are.
Premium for your solving the problems. But we don't have an education system like that. We have an education system that gives you a degree. And the best thing you can write after your degree, I hereby apply for a job. I'm a team worker. I work under pressure. Really? And there we end up with graduates that are not employed, instead of graduates that are creating employment.
Is that what's really happening right now? That's what's happening. That's what's happening right now. We do have lots of graduates who do not have job opportunities at all.
With almost so many engineers in Kenya, are we still having a problem with electricity? What were they doing in school? Why are we struggling with medicine when we have so many doctors and pharmacists that have come out from the bush? Who amongst all these doctors tomorrow morning will go to the bush and find msusu and make for us a tonic that cures stomach problems. No, it has not been tested. It has not been tested by who? Because our fathers have been doing this for the past thousands of years. Which part of clinical tests do you need? But anyway, if you need clinical tests, then test it and see if it won't work. So the concept of education, we don't need an education that teaches us about the other. We need an education that teaches us about ourselves. It should be illegal for any student to graduate as a graduate and does not know what is underneath his feet in terms of the resources that their country is offering, the raw materials that are underneath their feet, the trees that are around them, the flora that is around us, and how all these are possible opportunities of business, economics, and development. Here is an opportunity for innovation, creating new products that are on the market, creating new drugs that are on the market. Education must educate us. How do we convert our raw materials into business and into industry? And until we get there, we'll be manufacturing fools for the employment sector. It means that therefore that our educational institutions are manufacturing stations for the colonial system. We're simply producing them so that they can go. In fact, a more reckless definition of education as we have it right now, education is a passport to run away from your community and go and become acceptable in the colonial system. So learn as much as you can and get out of here. Go where? Go there. If they come back, hallelujah. Many of them died there. And many of them are still going there. So what we're doing, we're spending so much money as governments and as families to educate each other. And yet we never have the benefit of what we have worked for. Yet in Zimbabwe, for example, 1/3 of our nurses and doctors have run out of the country. How many parents paid for these children to go and study? How much money has the government spent on these people? And where are they right now? And who is enjoying the benefits from these people? It is the same colonial system. And then you say Africa is poor. When 1/4 of all the doctors in America are Nigerians and Ghanaians. The question is, if America is benefiting from their skills, what is the condition of their health systems in their own countries? Education becomes the weakest link when it teaches you how to run away from your own people.
Yeah.
And you see them, we see them during holidays.
I agree with that because it actually teaches us to actually run away from our own self, our identity, who we are. Because I bet everything that you've been learning in the educational system, is it empowering you to actually learn about the empires of Africa? Is it teaching you about your cultural heritage? Is it teaching you how you were actually one of the greatest human beings of all time? Is it teaching you about the fact that you're the originators of all the civilization that is actually working right now? No. It's teaching you to be your lowest form of yourself. There's a word like that. It's teaching you to actually not have self-belief in yourself and to look at other races as better than you. And that's why we have people who invented or discovered like Victoria. Who is Victoria? I'm still trying to find out.
Come back home from town, these educated ones, when they fly back from the US with an accent and half, my man, mate, this. They can no longer sleep on the floor. They can no longer eat traditional foods.
Oh my
They can no
God.
longer do this because now they have been educated and they no longer understand these things. Weakest link we have is an education that exports you away from your own mother and your own father and your own community. And you spend all your life developing other communities and your own communities languishing in poverty.
Does it now make sense that we are all taught? I don't know, I don't know about anybody else, but a lot of people that I know, they were taught like, you know what, the US is better, Europe is better. You should actually graduate and actually leave and go get, greener pastures in the United States of America, the greatest nation of all time. Everything like that, And once you leave Africa, once you leave Kenya, once you leave Uganda, is like the greatest achievement of all time because you've gone to a nation that is cooler than the rest of the world.
We need an education that is inward looking. than an education that is externally driven. The business and economics model is a big challenge because our present economics are based on lies. They're based on paper money. They're based on fake principles of stock exchange, which are not honest. We are coming from a barter system where we exchange value for value. It does not make sense to me that you can buy my piece of land for 10,000 or 200,000 shillings and you give me paper money.
No, but as I said, we do have traders who are actually been working with people who are trying to actually get a hold of Africa. And that's why they will sell it at that amount. There's no amount of money that it should definitely make you sell your land. Your land.
And tomorrow morning, that paper money has lost value. I come back to 2 years later, the same piece of land is now worth 1 million. Who was robbed here? You actually robbed me. Because you sold me, you took away from me what has value, and you gave me what has no value. That's why in the olden school, we used to do barter system. We exchanged things. We never sold land. None of us owned the land. The land owned us. From it we came, to it we were going to return.
We did have that mentality, and a lot of people, mostly in the past that we've been told is not cool than the rest of the world, we did have a lot of foreign nation coming in as, you know what, we're buying this land to actually offset carbon. You know, it would not, because this is what represents everything to do with here. Land is a part of you, as Joshua Maponga has said, which I definitely agree with. Land is actually super precious, super, super precious. But we've not been taught how precious our land is. And it's for a reason, you know, it is for a reason.
Therefore,
There's a reason why we've not been taught all that. And we've seen the results of that, which people are sitting down and they've been questioning, like, why is everything that we've been taught not actually working and benefiting us? And that's why we do have this awakening happening.
Remained as the real estate on which all establishments went. And if we're supposed to do business, we don't do business that emulates Western businesses.
Yes.
In terms, again, of just being suppliers of raw materials. We need modern African businesses that can do what I call reverse re-engineering. Look at China, what they've done. Go to Britain and go to Germany and buy those big yellow trucks, bring them into their country, break those things to pieces. Come to Africa, buy the iron ore, go back to their industry, assemble those pieces together and come up with Samyong, Toyota, come up with all these things. But the engine was done by Ford in America. Now we have Toyotas from China and etc. How did it happen? From Japan. How did it happen? They were able to master the art of reverse re-engineering. So we need businesses in Africa right now that can re-engineer tablets, re-engineer
I agree with that.
computers, re-engineer cameras, re-engineer cars, re-engineer yellow fleet equipments, building equipments, materials, and etc. And these are the business.
Because right now we do have a generation that is building their own. A lot of individuals right now in this generation, most of them do not want to be employed at all. Everybody's creating their own thing. And if we did have an education or a system that is actually teaching us about our agricultural system or our agricultural identity, and I'm not saying they have to, because people are actually doing a lot of research for themselves and they're building things for themselves.
That must be indigenous to Africa and be fully owned by ourselves. But they lie to us. The world of IP, intellectual property. But who talks about intellectual property when they've been stealing from Egypt for the longest of time? They've only been stealing from Africa for the longest of time.
Yes.
Who has held them accountable for intellectual property? The whole concept of people being told this intellectual property, it actually only works in the West. The other day I was so mad. I found another American person patterning the mbira, which is the Zimbabwean traditional instrument. And someone right now in America is the pattern for mbira, which is our instrument. But someone grabbed it, took it to America, wrote a small little piece of paper and submitted it. Now he owns the mbira as an American. So which part of this are we missing as Africans? If we're about to talk about business, let's talk about indigeneity, let's talk about enculturation, let's talk about organic African business.
Everything about it has been stripped off, scraped off. Every word you can use that is off has been stolen, has been hidden. and it has all been pasted to look like it's the white individuals who came up with that. And the world believes it, but not everybody, because everybody's questioning things. Understanding that everything originated from Africa, as Joshua Maponga is actually giving an example right now. There was a mirror in Zimbabwe culture, how it's threaded. And there was an American individual who came. I think they love to do these experiments and just sit down and watch how things are made. And this guy went back to the United States of America, and he said he's the one who actually invented the mirror. And now he's the one who's actually came up with the invention. And does it actually sound that history is repeating itself? Like showcasing you, like, yeah, everything about you think you're the ones who invented it, you're the one who came up with it. And it's always a continuous print and trail of the same old, same old. It's like a cycle.
We want to see some of the Kenyan indigenous herbs on the market. We want to see some of the Kenyan foods on the market. We want to see the Maasai dresses on the market.
Yeah.
We want to see the African way of life being packaged also.
100% family. That was my time. We're actually coming to the end of the show. We did have Joshua Maponga talking about how we can decolonize the African system, and this is education, business, health, and more. And the conversation was about the power of the will. What are you doing with all the knowledge that you know about our history, identity, everything that was hidden away from us, everything that was stolen, everything that was actually stripped off us? What do you do when you learn about the factual, fundamental truth? Are you going to pass it around? What are you doing with it? Are you intentional about living as a Pan-Africanist? Before I move forward, remember you can download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackwatchfireradionetwork.com for amazing healthy supplement. Absolutely with the Black Watch Fire Radio logo on it. Remember also we do have an amazing summit that is happening on December 31st by Travels Culture. I'll definitely play that video right away.
Hi, my name is Kia Simmons, and I am the founder and CEO of Traverse Culture. We are here at Two Rivers Mall, where we'll be having the historical event Journey Back to Eden, or better known as the JBE. And I wanted you all to be able to see some of the experiences you will have at this beautiful location, which is one of the largest malls in Central and Eastern Africa.
So if you're coming to the JBE, we have partnered with the Holiday Inn, which is a place where you'll find some of the most luxurious rooms here in Nairobi, and a fine dining restaurant conveniently located at the Two Rivers Mall.
The Journey Back to Eden is a 3-day event built into a 7-day and 12-day tour of the beautiful country of Kenya. We will be having a business conference, culture exchange expo, New Year celebration, and a town hall meeting with none other than Dr. Umar right here in Nairobi, Kenya.